Hey Emily, it seems like our company's sales performance has been underachieving. Is everything okay? I heard a rumor from a colleague at the headquarters that they might start restructuring companies with poor performance nationwide. So I'm a bit worried. Really? Is that so? It would be great if we could all come together to find a way through this. To overcome this crisis, the cooperation of everyone is necessary. It's up to me, Emily, and all the other colleagues to work together as one. I'm John, 35 years old. So this is the company I'll be working for from today. I entered the subsidiary's entrance with a bit of nervousness. The building was much warmer than I expected and had a nostalgic feel to it. Until recently, I had been a sales manager at a major general trading company. I thought my career was going smoothly, but a certain incident changed everything. As a result, I was demoted to a subsidiary in the countryside. At first, I was really depressed. But the subsidiary's business involved using local specialty products for food enterprises. Local fresh vegetables and fruits were used for jams, dressings, and health-oriented snacks. These products were a way to promote local food culture nationwide, and even globally. There was more than enough meaning in the mission to contribute to the community and support agriculture. I decided to see my demotion as a stroke of good luck. That's what I thought. That's what I decided to think. The woman who met me almost on time at the reception said, "You're John, right?" As the woman approached me, I honestly replied, "Yes." She smiled warmly and said, "I'm Emily, and I'll be in the same department as you. Pleased to meet you. Mr. Anderson and Kevin are waiting for you. Please come this way." Her modest makeup made her seem approachable. My first impression of Emily was just that. I had met Mr. Anderson and Kevin online beforehand, but this was the first time meeting them in person. Their impressions were slightly different in person. Mr. Anderson, shorter than I imagined, said, "John, welcome from far away. We have high expectations for your experience. Please work well with us." I felt tense. After a brief greeting with Mr. Anderson and Kevin, Emily showed me around the workplace. In the office-attached processing plant, a part-time woman was working. She naturally called out to someone who seemed to be the part-time leader. "Good morning, Laura." "Oh, Emily, good morning. And who is this with you, a new member?" Laura stopped her work to look at me. I immediately introduced myself. "Hi, I'm John, and I'll be working with you from today." "Nice to meet you." "John, nice to meet you. If you have any questions, just ask Emily, she'll tell you everything. Don't hesitate, okay?" Laura gave Emily a look. "Well, yes, I guess I can handle most things." "Laura." Saying that, the two of them chuckled together. I hadn't noticed it before, but Emily was very charming, smiling with narrowed eyes. Her demeanor was like that of a beloved female announcer who had made it into the Hall of Fame. She continued to guide me around the workplace, and throughout, she kept talking to me, making me forget the anxiety of the new environment. My assignment at the subsidiary was in the administrative department. After being a sales manager, I transitioned to supporting roles in HR, finance, and general affairs. My career has always been centered around customer-facing sales, so I honestly felt lost not knowing how to handle my new duties. The subsidiary is a small to medium-sized business with about 20 full-time employees and 15 part-time workers. Though the number of part-time staff can change depending on how busy we are. Including me, there are 4 people in the administrative department. Kevin, Emily, and one person who recently went on maternity leave. I am filling in for the employee on maternity leave. The roles in HR, finance, and general affairs aren't clearly divided. So I need to learn a bit of everything. I went through the manuals given to me, creating a list of questions to clarify any uncertainties. It felt like I was a new employee all over again. Emily has a girl-next-door charm that's very approachable. While she's not flashy, her smile brings comfort. She readily answered the questions I had compiled, and our conversations often included lighthearted chats. Her soft voice and the thoughtful gestures she occasionally showed were reassuring. From the first time I met her, Emily somehow became a person of interest to me. She kindly spoke to me as I navigated through the unfamiliar environment. "John, if there's anything I can help with, please don't hesitate to ask." Whenever I paused in my tasks, she was proactive in offering support and teaching me the ropes of the job. When I started to get the hang of my job, we received a request from a public agency to check the status of our labor insurance enrollment. It seems to be a task the administrative department handles annually, and it was previously managed by the employee who is now on maternity leave. But Emily had taken it over. One evening, as I was doing overtime on a different task, I glanced over at Emily's desk and realized she was still working too. The way she was focused on the documents was memorable. "Emily, you're still here? Are you okay?" By this time, I had become comfortable enough to speak casually with Emily. "Yes, I'm just gathering some missing data for the labor insurance report. It's my first time handling it, so I'm following the manual." "Really? Is there anything I can help with?" I was working on another task, but it was almost finished. Intending to help her, I called out to her. "Thank you, but I should be fine. It's better if I do this task alone to make sure it's done correctly." "You must be tired from the overtime, John. Don't worry about me and feel free to head home. The deadline is tomorrow, so I'll make sure to meet it." She showed me a thumbs up and smiled as she responded. Trying not to disturb her, I finished my work and went home. The next morning, I asked her, "How did the work go yesterday?" "I managed to finish it just in time for the last train." "It took quite a while." She looked more tired than usual. It was a moment when I truly realized how earnestly and wholeheartedly she dedicates herself to her work. As we often talked about our work, the conversation naturally shifted to the challenges and difficulties of our jobs. Work can be tough, right? I've hit quite a few big obstacles in the past myself. She paused thoughtfully before slowly starting to speak. "Actually, I have too. I experienced an unexpected failure in a project once." "Really? I thought you always handle your tasks so cautiously. I couldn't imagine you making a big mistake." Her work had always been well prepared and meticulous. While there were minor slip-ups, I couldn't imagine her making any major mistakes. "Of course, it happens. When we were starting a new welfare project, I made a huge estimation error, which delayed the project significantly." "Wow, that must have been tough. Were you okay?" She looked out the window and smiled a bit sadly. "It was really hard at first. I faced severe criticism from stakeholders, and there were times when I lost confidence in myself." She picked up her coffee cup and slowly stirred it as she continued. "But even those failures ultimately became valuable experiences. They taught me the importance of risk management in planning and execution." "That's so like you, Emily. I really admire how you use your failures to improve yourself," I said. Her face brightened up, and I couldn't help but smile too. "Thank you. Everyone makes mistakes, right? What's important is what you learn from them and how you bounce back," she replied. "Yeah, hearing you talk about it, I'm reminded that I need to do my best in this new environment too." "Thanks, Emily." She looked at me with kind eyes and smiled warmly. "You'll be fine, John. Let's keep working hard together." "Thanks," I responded. After Emily shared her past failures, I found myself deep in thought. I needed to make a fresh start here. I needed to have the courage to move forward positively, like Emily. "Actually, I've made a similar mistake myself. I haven't told you why I was transferred here," I confessed. Emily looked into my eyes, listening silently. "I used to lead a project at the parent company, setting up a loan program targeted at domestic SMEs. The aim was to find SMEs that were struggling financially but had potential, and to help them expand their business. The old general trading firm used to import various products from around the world and then sell them globally, but nowadays, with changing times, it's not just about trading but also investing, providing services, and even financing," I explained. "So, it was a project to save companies like ours, right?" "That's impressive, John," Emily responded, showing genuine interest. "But one day, when the project was going well, an unexpected problem occurred." "A problem? What happened?" she asked. I took a deep breath before explaining the issue. "There was a mistake in the allocation of the budget. Because of our error, the companies that were supposed to receive the loans didn't get the funds they needed. Our mistake significantly impacted their business plans. That's why I was demoted," I said. She looked surprised at first but then gave me a warm look. "But it was you who started that project, John. One failure doesn't define everything." You've also built up a lot of effort and achievements. She reassured me. Hearing that from you somehow makes me feel saved. Thank you, Emily. Sharing past failures felt like exposing my vulnerabilities. I might not have talked about it in the past. But I'm glad I talked to Emily about it. I truly felt that way. It would be great if we could continue to take on new challenges together. I want to be there to support you, too. She said, her voice cheerful and encouraging. Just having you by my side gives me enough courage, Emily. Thank you, I replied. That day, I felt like we understood each other better. It was a moment that deepened our relationship further. At some point, a sales report came in from the sales department. The revenue was decent, but the trend was flat. For the second consecutive year, the sales target was unmet, and the profitability was declining, a worrying situation. Hey, Emily. It seems like our company's sales performance continues to be below target. Are we doing anything about it? She looked into my eyes as she answered. Yes, it seems so. We're nowhere near the budget targets. Mr. Anderson and the sales department are trying to develop new customers. But it doesn't seem to be reflecting in the performance. She replied, her voice calm but without a smile. I heard a rumor from a colleague at the headquarters that they might start restructuring companies with poor performance nationwide. So I've been a bit concerned, I added. Really? Is that true? She asked, unable to hide her surprise. There might be changes in the upper management or downsizing before that. Either way, it will affect everyone's jobs here. And it could negatively impact the local farmers too, I explained. She nodded worriedly as she listened to me. That's true. This company is very important not just to us but also to the local farmers. I wonder if there's a way to turn this situation around. Instead of leaving it all to the sales department. It would be great if we could all come together to find a way through this. She responded firmly to my words. I love this company, including the part-time staff. The local farmers are kind, and I absolutely want to protect this. I don't know if I can be of much help, but I want to do my best alongside you, John, she said. We vowed to help each other and move forward together, finding a solution. In order to overcome this crisis, the cooperation of everyone is necessary. Emily and I, along with all the other colleagues, must work together unitedly. Emily has really excelled in the administrative department. For example, she's been advancing the digitization of documents, reducing the amount of paper used. This has improved efficiency by shortening the time needed to search for information and has helped cut costs. Although the savings might seem minor, I believe it's all about individual awareness. Ah, Kevin, are you printing that? I'll share it in the folder, so please look at it on the screen. Kevin was reluctant, but such shifts in mindset are bound to pay off eventually. But all my efforts alone aren't enough to improve the company's overall performance. Hearing this, I could tell how much Emily cared about the company. She perfectly manages her duties and yet aspires to achieve greater results. She looked a bit disheartened as she glanced at her desk. I have my limits too. It's so frustrating. I approached her to offer some encouragement. Look, Emily, just having you here has already changed this department a lot. Even if your efforts don't directly lead to improved company performance, your attitude has a significant impact on those around you. That's a commendable achievement. She looked up slightly, grateful for my words. It makes me happy to hear that from you, John. Please let me know if there's more I can do. I want to do my best for this company. With someone like her around, I truly believe we can overcome this situation. I had been secretly developing a tool without telling Emily. Actually, Emily, I used to work in the IT department at the parent company. The general trading firm encouraged job rotation to equip colleagues with various skills, and as part of that, I spent my first 5 years in the IT department. She looked surprised. Wow, I didn't know that. So that's why you're strong in IT. Though I hadn't intended to show off my IT skills, I continued with a smile. Well, you could say that. Even after I left the IT department, I continued studying on my own. That knowledge might come in handy now. She listened with keen interest. I've noticed that some of the business processes here take too long. But with the knowledge I gained from my studies, I think we could improve them somewhat. Really? What kind of improvements are you thinking about? She leaned in eagerly. For example, customer management. Here we use spreadsheet software for managing customers. And the file sizes are so large that it takes time just to open them. But if we use a database, customer management could be much simpler. Also, if we link inventory information of processed goods with order information, it will be easier to see what is lacking and how much. That should reduce situations where we can't accept orders because of insufficient inventory. Wow, that's interesting. I've always felt stressed about how slow it is to open the spreadsheet software. But is it easy to set up that database thing? Her question was valid. Yes, it's relatively easy now. I've already created the database and the interface to operate it, and I'd like you to try it out. You've already made it? John, that's amazing. I'm looking forward to trying it. I showed her how to use it. Wow, you can register the data with just one button? She was surprised but enjoyed operating it. Yes. If everyone uses this, something that took a week from order to shipment could now be done in an hour. I spoke with confidence. That's incredible. Who are you, John? Her eyes sparkled, and her words seemed filled with respect. But there's one potential issue. Whether the part-time staff and the sales department colleagues will use this screen. They might resist changing the way they've been accustomed to. Leave that to me. I'll talk to the part-time leader, Laura, and the sales department. If using this tool makes our jobs easier, it would be a waste not to use it. Emily agreed with my proposal and immediately started convincing the stakeholders. Thanks to the trust she had built up, everyone readily agreed to use the tool. A few days later, when I visited the processing plant, Laura, the part-time leader, approached me. John, I heard about it. You made that tool, right? It was a bit of a hassle at first. But now it's great because I can see at a glance how much of each product to make and when. Thank you. I was glad to see it being used. There was one more thing I needed to do. A strategy to increase sales. I discussed it with Emily. Emily, there's one more thing I want to try. How about advertising on social media? You know our company sells products through our website and online store, but we haven't used social media yet, right? I think it can reach a much broader audience than our current methods, especially for targeting the younger generation. Emily looked surprised and responded. Advertising on social media is perfect for today's era. It might make our products known to a lot more people. I have a friend who's active on social media, so I'll ask about how to do it. I could tell Emily was excited about my proposal. Thanks. It's reassuring to have someone with connections. Our company's strengths in health-oriented products and specialties should appeal to people interested in those areas, I said. Indeed. We should propose this to the sales department too, she agreed. With her advice, I went ahead and made the proposal to the sales department. I prepared the presentation materials myself and presented them. The sales department was initially apprehensive about my proposal, but Emily's support had a significant impact. Eventually, Emily's enthusiasm convinced our colleague, Kevin, and even moved our president, Mr. Anderson. Moving Mr. Anderson was no small feat. It made me realize once again how amazing she is. Thus, the company decided to start advertising using social media. Emily learned the specifics of social media broadcasting from her friend. We focused on connecting with our audience through social media. Initially, everyone was skeptical about the impact on sales, but when a certain influencer promoted our products, our sales dramatically increased. We immediately caught the increase in orders thanks to the database system we had built. We managed to prevent stock shortages by increasing part-time staff and coordinating with farmers. Our proposal began to gain support from all our colleagues. Everyone agreed with the idea and showed a united front in their efforts. Seeing everyone's reaction, I'm really glad I made the proposal. Including Emily, everyone is working on it positively. It should certainly reflect on the overall company performance, I mentioned. Yes, I think so too. I feel like everyone's demeanor is changing, Emily replied. The company's atmosphere started to change distinctly. 3 months after implementing our proposal, during the monthly sales report, the performance had clearly improved. Using social media for advertising opened up new customer demographics and increased operational efficiency through data centralization. Our efforts directly contributed to an increase in revenue. Emily spoke to me with a smile. John, did you see the sales report? Your proposal has changed the company. It wasn't just me. It was possible because of your support, Emily. I truly believe that, I replied. The successful project not only transformed the company's atmosphere but also gave me new confidence. After recovering from a previous setback, I was now able to look forward to the future with optimism. Without you, John, the company wouldn't have changed this much. I'll continue to work hard and contribute to the company, inspired by you. Emily said. Your attitude is also a great motivation for me, Emily. Let's keep working hard together, I responded. In the following months, profits continued to rise. Looking at the annual revenue, our growth rate was the highest among all the group companies. Everyone's change in mindset led to actively bringing and implementing various ideas and improvements. That was when I received a call from our parent company. John, who was that call from? Emily asked, probably curious about the rare call to me. Oh, it was from a former boss at the parent company. They've heard about our performance improvements and asked if I would come back, I explained. Wow, that's incredible. But what will you do, John? She asked, a bit anxious. I turned it down. The job at the parent company was appealing. But the importance of human connections I've experienced here feels more valuable to me now, I answered. After a moment of surprise, she smiled happily. If that's your decision, John, then it must be the best one. We are also reassured by your presence, she said. The job at the parent company was indeed challenging. However, I find the warm relationships here far more important than the competitive and political maneuvering I experienced there. I truly believe that from the bottom of my heart. I'm truly relieved to hear that. Please continue to work with us, she said with a bright smile. She still has that adorable smile. I chose not to return to the parent company because I want to cherish what we've built here. Because I want to keep seeing Emily's cute smile and her brightness, always. I thought to myself again. That evening, I asked her to meet me alone because I wanted to talk. Emily, actually, there's something important I want to discuss with you. A lot has happened since I came here. But the biggest change for me has been meeting you, I said. Really? I paused before continuing. Because you were here, I could stay positive even after being demoted. It was because of you that I came to love this company and wanted to save it. There have been many challenges I've overcome thanks to you. So, I have a favor to ask, I told her. Emily looked surprised but was staring intently into my eyes. Emily, will you marry me? I want to be with you in the future too. I want to keep seeing your smile. I feel like I can face anything as long as you're with me, I proposed. Tears welled up in her eyes, and for a while, she was lost for words. However, she soon smiled gently. Yes, I'd love to. I can be happy with you, John. I really enjoyed working on improvements with you. And John, you were so cool. I look forward to continuing our journey together, she accepted. At that moment, my heart was completely fulfilled. We looked deeply into each other's eyes, feeling hopeful and happy about the new life that was starting. 2 years had passed since then. Our company continued to improve its performance, and recently, we received a special award for business innovation from the parent company. There have been frequent interviews from the parent company's public relations department. And our management department has been busy handling them. We were surrounded by congratulatory messages. Emily, thank you for today. I never imagined we could have our wedding surrounded by everyone like this, I said. I'm also incredibly happy to be blessed by so many people, she responded. Our wedding was held in the company's garden. Our colleagues and locals gathered there, their warm smiles celebrating our new beginning. The ceremony progressed in a homely atmosphere with handmade decorations and dishes made from local produce. We held hands, renewing our hopes and resolutions for the life ahead. With the warm support of our colleagues and the local community, we believe we can overcome any difficulty. Our wedding was just the beginning. From now on, we will walk through life together, contributing to our company and the local community. With Emily by my side, I can overcome anything. I am certain of that.